So we can bring in trial attorney Alexis Rosenberg, who is standing by. Alexis, it's good to have you on. Let's talk about what we're seeing, because we're getting to see behind the curtain on how these plea deals, plea agreements are reached between prosecutors and defense. And this is a witness who says, I held back some things before I got my attorney. You know, I don't know if the jury will think that's smart and makes sense if you're going to reach a plea agreement rather than giving them all the information up front, or if they're going to think that means he made it up.
Well, usually there is some sort of proffer, and it was very smart of him to wait for an attorney, because the police, they can lie to get information, as well as, the state attorney, or the district attorney. So it was smart for him to have an attorney to work out the deal and make sure that that was in place before he gave all the information. The initial information that he was given was kind of a proffer to say, yeah, I have information that you're interested in.
Okay, is that proffer being that first set, just getting information out on the record? They even mentioned that all the way up until this trial, what he had proffered would not be used against him if he chose to not testify and take his case to trial. So I thought that was an interesting side of it. Anything else standing out to you about Christopher Austin and his testimony against Monica Cementilli?
Well, I mean, to me, I do see where the defense attorney is going, that he's trying to make it out that he lied and made it up because he thought he was going to be on the hook, and he keeps, reiterating that he wanted to go home to his family. But I think he's coming across, he's answering the questions. He's probably doing what is required under that agreement, to testify so that he's not in breach of that agreement.
Alexis, it is day 25 there in Los Angeles. This is the third day of Christopher Austin on the stand. I'm starting to hear a repeat of the theme and the questions that the defense attorney asked yesterday. When is too much? I know in California it seems like they do go longer, it seems, with their trials on average, and jurors must just be very patient. But what are you keeping in mind when you are in front of a jury and you know that it's been days on days of evidence for them?
Well, first of all, I mean, the judge is basically saying, he told him, move along, and I have to agree with the judge. I mean, it's just getting to be cumulative and repetitive. I think the jury has got it. They understand the premise that he was coerced, or, he would say anything he wanted because he wanted to go home. And that the defense attorney believes that he made up this story and that they were feeding him information. I think he needs to move along. I think they've got it, and he can hammer this home later, and he can hammer it home on closing. But the questioning needs to move on to something else.
Yeah, he's had 2 days of cross-examination. It's not like this is the one and only time that he's been able to talk to him. But Alexis, let's talk about Robert Baker, because we're hearing a lot about him. The jury has heard about him for all of those 25 days. And we don't know if the prosecution is going to try and call him, even though he would be adversary to them. He would not be in agreement, as far as we know, with what their theory of the case is and Monica's involvement. If you're a prosecutor, do you force him to testify for you so he can try and either ignore you or say what you don't want him to say, or do you let the defense call him if they choose?
I would not call him, because I think he's made it very clear that he's going to get up on the stand and say that she had absolutely nothing to do with this. So let the defense call and then say that he's hostile, and then try to put on, questioning that would show that he's biased, that he's still in the relationship with the defendant, and he pretty much would say anything because he is in love with her.
We will see what happens. Alexis Rosenberg, thank you so much for all of your analysis this hour.